today's video is on sine rule. Okay, before we start on this one, I need to talk about the previous videos which we did on calculating sines and angles of triangles. We did the Pythagoras theorem, and we say the Pythagoras theorem is only to do with the right-angled triangles. We can calculate another side when we have two sides given. And we talked about the trig ratios when we have got right-angled triangles, okay? And today we are talking about non-right-angled triangles. How do we calculate angles and sides when we have got non-right-angled triangles? So I've got some scalene triangles in front of me, which I need to calculate. But before we start, we are going to label our triangle, because with the sine rule, we need to know which side we are calculating and which angle we are calculating for us to understand the formula. So on here, side A is opposite to angle A in capital letters. That's how we label it. If this is angle B, this will be our B side. Angle C, that will be our C side. And our formula for the sine rule, we've got two formulas, one for the length and one for the angle. So when we are calculating the length, the formula is A, which is the side, over sine A, the angle, is the same as B over sine B, is exactly the same as C over sine C. Okay, so that's the formula for calculating the length. It's just quite straightforward. What you just need to do is to remember the formula. So only here, I'm calculating A. So which means my A over sine 37 is exactly the same as B, which is 8.4 over sine 74. So what I've just done is I'm just plugging in my numbers into the formula. Then I need to rearrange my formula because I need to calculate A. So which means my A, which is the side, so my A would be, you multiply to get rid of the sine 37, you multiply both sides by sine 37. Okay, so which means 8.4 times sine 37 over sine 74. Okay, so what you do is you just punch that in a calculator. 8.4 times sine 37 over sine 74. You would get 5.258. And you can simplify this to the nearest to one decimal place. So which is A to the 5.3 centimeters. Because I had one decimal place on my question, so I can just simplify it to one decimal place. That's how you calculate length. The formula for the angle, it's now different from the formula because now we are calculating the angle. So the angle goes on top. So you are just flipping that same formula, which means sine A, which is the angle, over the side A is exactly the same as sine B over side B is exactly the same as sine C over C, the side. So it's exactly the same. You punch in the numbers. So on here, I'm given this. So I'll call this A, and that's my side A. B, and that's my side B. Angle C, and that's my side C. So which means I'm going to use A and B. So which means sine 74 over 8.4 centimeters is exactly as sine X, which I'm calculating, over the side 7.9 centimeters. Now I need to make sine X as the subject of the formula. So my sine X, so which means for me to make this is a similar formula, which means I'm multiplying both sides by 7.9. So which means sine X is equal to 7.9 times sine 74, everything over 8.4. Okay, so when you have done this, you would get, for your sine x, you would get 0. Always you get a 0. The answer will give you a 0 point something, 0.904, and so forth. It's a recurring decimal. So for you, because that's an angle, remember when we were calculating an angle, that's when we do second function of sine, which is sine minus 1. Then you punch your 0.904 on your calculator, and this will give you 64.7 degrees. So which means this one will be 64.7 degrees. Okay, so how to remember it? For sine rule, we have got two formulas, one for the length and one for the angle. The length, because we're calculating the length, so the length goes on top. And the angle goes on top. And whatever you are given, you just substitute it into the equation, into the formula, then you'll be able to calculate it. As always, we have got a worksheet at the end of this video. Pause the video, do the worksheet, send in your work for marking and feedback. The next lesson to this will be the cosine rule.